There has been a latest kerosene boost between Imisi and Faith, and it's really really interesting. Like that fight, that fight was just, it was over the roof. Like that fight is, it is really intense. Me, I don't know whatever provocation that must have, I don't know how Faith must have been provoked to lead him to that extent of having to pour kerosene all over that cooking area. But for me, because the camera didn't really show that side, I don't know what really happened. I don't know what triggered it, because I know that something must have triggered Faith, to go to that extent of having to pour back the kerosene. I will know the kind of a person Imisi is. She's actually, in fact, she actually said it from the beginning that she's out to frustrate Faith. So I don't know if that is, part of that her strategy of trying to frustrate Faith. So we are going to talk about everything, what led to that in this video, guys. Welcome guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time coming across my channel, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on your notification, like, share and comment in this video. So day before yesterday, the camera didn't really show the exact what really happened, what really transpired that led to Imisi and Faith dragging that kerosene rubber. The camera, I don't know if maybe if the production is actually trying to conceal that scenario from the beginning, because why that scene was happening, was going on, the camera just focused on Thelma and Big Soso in the kitchen. So I think it was what Thelma and Big Soso were saying. That was what made the camera even went to go and flash Imisi and Faith. Big Soso and Thelma, they were saying that Faith has been provoking Imisi, that this is not the first time, second time, or even third time, that as if Faith is just all out, trying to frustrate Imisi in the show. Before the camera now show where Faith and Imisi, they were dragging kerosene rubber, and from what the housemate they were explaining, the kerosene have splashed all over the place, even entering the food that they were cooking, the pot and everywhere, splashed all over, and everywhere was smelling kerosene, even inside the house. So from what they were saying and what some housemate was saying, what we got to grab from what they were saying, I got to grab, because the camera didn't really show it, but at least we grabbed what really happened. So what happened was that we all know that when Faith won the head of house, he picked people for the kitchen, people that will be in charge of the kitchen. He picked K-Bobo, he picked Big Soso. So he kept them in charge of the kitchen, that because it's not everybody that eats the general food. Like Imisi, from day one in that show, Imisi has been making her own food by herself. So she said, Faith told those people he picked to take care of the kitchen, K-Bobo and Big Soso. He told them that even if anybody wants to make their own food, that they should tell Big Soso and K-Bobo first, that K-Bobo and Big Soso will be the one to give the person to assign, especially protein, not really the food itself, not really about the food itself, but the protein. There are some things that they are trying to to manage and economize this week, because we all know the theme of this week, that the theme of this week is bare minimum. So Big Brother gave them like half of what he normally used to give them before. If you've been following the show this week, you see that even some of their shares, they have not been using some of the share, like their the shares in that their lounge. They've not been used. Like Big Brother has used some of the things, even the tennis ball, a lot of things. The kitchen, they've not been using the kitchen for some time. That like they don't really have. Big Brother gave them a charcoal stove, a lot of things. So this bare minimum week, and even the kerosene Big Brother gave them, like he gave them to manage. Like the kerosene said Big Brother gave them is kerosene that they were supposed to manage till the end of this week. So you guys, so I actually understand Faith, Faith trying to manage the things so that at least the things they have in the house will last till their next wager. I understand Faith trying to manage it. And we all know that Imisi have actually said it before. When Faith said that, now when they had that first bread drama, when Faith said he was going to make sure that would be the last thing Imisi eats in the house, we know that one was later resolved, because Kola later returned back the bread to Faith. So I don't think that is even the threat he made there is applicable. But Imisi already said it, that he was going to frustrate Faith, that why will she take permission from Faith, or whoever Faith assigned to take care of the kitchen? Why will Imisi have to take permission from there first before she cook whatever she wants to cook? That this is Big Brother house, that the food is Big Brother Naija food, Big Brother's food, that Faith does not have that right, that she will cook whatever she wants to cook, collect anything at any time, that she does not hold anybody's explanation, that nobody have that right to give him the go ahead, nobody have that right to give her the go ahead to collect things before she collects it. And we all know how provoking that can be. So you can imagine the head of house, and I'm very very sure she's doing this thing because it is the Faith that is the head of house. If it was Kola or Kebobo or any other people that is the head of house, she wouldn't dare do this kind of a thing she's doing now. Faith is not the first head of house for this season. They've been other head of house, and Imisi have been following, Imisi have been obeying their rules, but because of it is Faith, and we all know that they already have an outstanding misunderstanding before, so that is why Imisi really came out to frustrate this Faith reign. Faith already said it before. They've already planning her that when she's going to win her own head of house, Faith, Robo and Kebobo, they already planned that they were going to frustrate Imisi whenever she wins the head of house. So that is what angered Faith. When Imisi did not eat, she doesn't eat the general food. Now, why she wanted to make the food that she was going to eat, she didn't tell any of those people that Faith kept in charge of the kitchen, like Big Soso and Kebobo. She just went, picked things, collected protein and started cooking. And we all know that Faith already told Kebobo that if anybody picks anything in that kitchen without him giving the order, that Faith should come and that Kebobo should come and report to him. We all know that Kebobo is a friend to Imisi now. So Kebobo went when Imisi started making that food, because it wasn't for only herself. She was making the food for herself and some other few housemates like Dede, Mide, Bright Morgan, Jason J, and some other housemates who were going to eat in the food. Also Isabella and some other housemates. So Kebobo went and reported to Faith that Imisi is cooking, and she didn't. He was not the one that gave Imisi things he was using like protein. Imisi didn't came and tell him. So I think that was what really angered Faith, because come on, he already set the rules and regulations for his tenure. Imisi is supposed to obey it, because being the head of house, it has given you that mantle from Big Brother that anything you say in that house, they are supposed to abide by it. So because Faith is really out to frustrate, Imisi is really out to frustrate Faith. So that was what actually angered Faith. So he actually wanted to bend Imisi so that Imisi would bend to his rule. So he went outside and he went outside the kerosene, the stove that Imisi already lit up, that Imisi was cooking on. So he just went there, removed the food from the stove. According to what other housemates were saying, people that were saying, they said he collected a rag there, carry water, pour inside the stove, because he doesn't really know how to off a kerosene stove. You know, all those Gen Z and Indomie generation, he doesn't know how to off a kerosene stove. So he just carried the rag, squeezed the water inside the kerosene stove, off it. Even with the way that stove is hot, he carried the stove and poured back the kerosene inside the kerosene stove, inside the kerosene rubber. That is even a risk safe, pouring back the hot kerosene with the way it was hot like that, pour it back. So I think that was what angered Imisi. Imisi just went there and they started, after he poured, him trying to pour the kerosene from the stove to the rubber, some kerosene splashed everywhere, some entered the food, and we all know how active kerosene is, that even if a drop enter this place, even if a drop enter your pot of food, you will not be able to eat that food. So that was how it wasn't on when he was trying to pour the kerosene inside the kerosene rubber, some splash everywhere. So the few he was able to pour inside the kerosene rubber, with these others that have poured everywhere, Imisi came and they started dragging the rubber. He told Imisi, leave the rubber. Imisi doesn't want to leave, and they were there they were dragging the rubber for God knows how long. So other housemates that were going to also eat from the food, they were very very angry, like JCJ also charged up, everything. Nobody knew that it was Kebobo that reported to Faith, though he wasn't hiding it, because later he actually said it, that even though Imisi is his friend, it doesn't mean that when Imisi does something wrong, he will not castigate him. So he actually said that he was the one, that Imisi was supposed to come and take permission from him. At least he was supposed to be the one to give Imisi the protein she was going to use to cook the food. Even though Imisi said she collected the number of protein she was supposed to collect, that people they were supposed to give him, but even though she was supposed to come and tell Kebobo, being that they've already given him that right to the kitchen, Kebobo was supposed to be the one to give her the protein. So the two of them, they were dragging that rubber. It was very very tensed. In fact, it was even Big Brother that now called Faith. Big Brother now saw how tense things would have gone out of hand. It was Big Brother that now called Faith into the diary room. Faith left the rubber for Imisi. Faith entered the diary room, came back. So when he came back, I don't know how Big Brother solved the matter, but when he came back with a task. There's a task they were supposed to do. So he came back with a box. So when Faith came back from the diary room, then when he entered the diary room, Imisi poured back the kerosene in the stove and continued the cooking. So Shey you get? So he came back and called everybody into the lounge for them to have a brief that Big Brother, there's supposed to be there's something that yeah, for the brief, for the task that they were going to do. So all of them now came in there. So in that box that Faith was holding, you were to pick your group, to know the group you fall in. So any paper you pick in, any group you fall in, that's the group. So it was actually very, very funny that when it got to Imisi's turn to pick from the box, she just put her hand inside the box and will be like, hey Faith, you have to wait till I'm done picking before you go. It was very, very funny. Like, it was very, very obvious that Imisi is really out to frustrate this boy. Like, whatever happened with that kerosene and everything, it wasn't really funny, but that it was at that part that I burst out laughing. Like, I laughed like I don't know why Big Brother had to call Imisi into the diary, because it was Big Brother calling Imisi that actually stopped that show. Whatever was happening, that was really enjoying it, and I was actually waiting, let me see how this thing is going to end. So Imisi put his hand inside the box and he just stayed there. He was like saying like Faith will have to stand there till she collect the paper that she's shuffling it. Faith say okay, you can have the whole day. They stood there. She even had to tell Isabella, like, Isabella is the weapon fashioned against, but Isabella is the weapon fashioned against them. So he just called Isabella, bring me akpoti. That was what she also did when he and Faith was dragging the rubber. He called him Isabella to bring him to bring her akpoti. Isabella brought akpoti. She sat down there. She was like, even if Faith is ready to stay here from now till the next day, that she herself, she's ready. So that was exactly what she did during the tax time. She was like, she wanted him and Faith to be in the same group, and really it's Dee and Faith, they were in the same group during that task. And it was also funny that after their fight and everything, they were in the same group. They were the two people picked by their group to solve the puzzle that they had for that task, and the two of them, they left their differences aside and they were solving puzzle. It's actually very funny. Like, these people, I don't know why I love, like, they don't really want to come out and say that they love each other. And you know, in the diary session that Imisi did, I think that was in week 2 or week 3, Imisi said it that she has been giving Faith green light, you know, for a relationship, that Faith has been turning her advances down. Faith has been giving her a red light, that since Faith does not want to, you know, agree to have a relationship with her, that she's going to frustrate Faith. So you get, so I think that's this is just like if Imisi love Faith, Imisi love Faith, but because of Faith no gree for am now, it's actually very frustrating. That's why the baby girl felt so frustrated. So while Imisi kept his hand inside that box, he don't carry she sit down, and she was actually out to frustrate Faith. You know, that was when Big Brother now called Imisi to the diary room. That was when she now picked the paper, entered the diary session and came back. So they did their task. After their task, she continued the cooking, and I think that was how everything. So, like, and I forgot to tell you guys that Big Brother later told Faith to clean up the mess he made. So you guys can see Faith cleaning up the mess he made in their kitchen space. Almost all the housemates was against Faith. Even Joanna and her friend said, was saying, her guy, you fuck up. Like, what was the need of pouring the kerosene and everything? Two wrong does not make a right. Yes, we may agree that Imisi was very, very wrong for not coming to take permission from the people who you've assigned the duty of the kitchen, but it doesn't make you right for having to go and pour the kerosene. Why not report to Big Brother instead? And I've always been saying it. I said, see, I like Faith. Faith is the person I'm standing at. The two people I'm standing in this show this season is Faith and Zita. I love them a bit. Faith can never go wrong. In fact, I will castigate Faith. If Faith do something wrong, I will be among the people that will castigate him. But it doesn't remove the that likeness I have for him, or it does not remove the fact that I'm his stand. I will stand him to the last day, no matter what Faith does. But it doesn't stop me from telling him he's wrong to his face. Because why I'm saying this thing is that I've seen a lot of YouTubers on this street. There's a particular YouTuber, I don't want to mention name. In fact, in this Big Brother analysis, like, it's like she's the biggest. She has been somehow biased in this show. She's very, very she has been so emotional while, you know, doing this her analysis. Do you get it? I know she likes Faith. I think Faith is the person she's standing. I'm also standing Faith. But it doesn't mean that when Faith do something wrong, we should not call him out. The way she has been covering up for Faith, you know, it's becoming like, I've been watching her videos, seeing her posts on X, and it's becoming very, very annoying. Yes, I'm standing Faith, but I will point out it's wrong. Faith was very, very wrong to have poured that kerosene or whatever he did there. He was very, very wrong. I'm not trying to say Imisi is right. Imisi was also very, very wrong for doing whatever she must have done, because Faith is the head of house, so she should respect the head of house. You get? So I've been seeing the way she has been covering up for Faith. Faith didn't do this. Faith will let us see the full video first. There must be something. Imisi must have done something that provoked Faith, that made him do what he did. See, we should all have a control of our temper. Yes, we should all have. We must all have controls of our temper. Faith must, Imisi must have done something to provoke Faith. Imisi must have done something to provoke. We didn't really see the main way, the genesis of the problem, how things got escalated to that extent. But we know that Imisi must have done something to provoke Faith. But that does not mean Faith is right for pouring that thing. Why didn't Faith go and report to Big Brother? Big Brother is there for a reason now. If you feel that, if Faith felt that Imisi did very, very wrong by taking protein without his consent, without the consent of the people he assigned the education, why not reporting to Big Brother? That is why Big Brother is there. So him taking the law into his own hand to start pouring the kerosene or whatever drama he did there, he's also not right, because two wrong does not make it right. So guys, that was what happened. So what do you guys have to say about this thing? Stand aside. I know that we may have people we are standing. Imisi stand, Faith stand. I am not Imisi stand, no. I am not standing Imisi, but you see that drama, it was what we subscribe for. Like, you see this drama going on, to be very honest, I am enjoying it, because come on, why do we subscribe for our DSTV? Why would they watch the show? Not before drama. They are really giving us that drama we want. Like, I've been so hooked to this show, because I may not be Imisi stan, but baby girl is giving me drama. You see that thing that happened, that kerosene, the way they were dragging it, I laughed. That thing was so funny. The way she went on shouting, "If I leave this rubber, make I know wetin sup." If I leave, the way she was using that, is it Ajegunle vibe? What's the name of that place she said she came from? I've forgotten the name. It was very, very funny. Even when she put her hand inside that box that she was supposed to pick a group from, like, I was really entertained, to be very, very honest. Like, I was entertained. The thing sweet me. I was very, very entertained. In fact, I'm now looking out for Imisi and Faith drama. I hope and I pray something like they should have their own drama. As a made drama continue they happen, I'm enjoying it. As long as they don't overblow things up, like, I'm enjoying it. As long as they don't do it to that extent that the Big Brother will give them a strike. But you see the way they're entertaining us, stand aside. I am enjoying it. So guys, what do you guys have to say about those drama that went on? Who do you think is wrong? Who do you think is right? For me, I know that, for me, from my own part, I would say both of them, they are wrong in their own, in their own place. Imisi was wrong for not heeding to the order, for not, abiding by the order of the head of house, the rules of the house. While Faith was also wrong in his own way for, taking the law into his hand, pouring those kerosene. So guys, what do you have to say about that drama that went on? Do you guys enjoy it? Were you entertained? I enjoyed it. Who do you think is wrong? Who do you think is right? And were you entertained? Stand aside, tell me, were you not entertained? Because me, I was entertained. I was very, very entertained. Guys, thank you for joining me. See you in my next video.